Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito show on Damon Looks. I've got a really cool guest, guys, today. One that I actually had to interview, and there were so many reasons why. Um, I'm going to let him say hello to you. His name is Nate Miller. Say hello to everyone, Nate.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So,
Glad to be on.
Nate is a former WBA World Cruiserweight champ. Check him out. Okay, here's his photo, guys. This is Nate. This is so cool. But there's so much more to you than just being a boxing champion, I understand.
Breaking up.
Nate, can you hear me? Guys, bear with us. I'm the one that's having some tech issues here with the phone. I have a brand new phone. I'm not really sure what's going on. I hope you guys out there can hear me. Nate's having an issue with hearing me. Can you hear me now, Nate?
I hear you right for the moment. I do.
All right.
It's sporadic.
All right. So how about this? Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself? How many hats you wear?
Okay. I have a whole lot of hats. Baseball hats, dress hats. I am the former cruiserweight champ, Nate Mr. Miller, born and raised in Philadelphia. Third from the youngest of 8 siblings. I come from 2 foster care systems. I started boxing at the late age of 17. I went to school for boys, a discipline school for being bad. In the high school, they sent me to a discipline school called D.A.M.O.N for discipline boys, and that's where I learned some crafts, tailoring. In school, I made the most clothes in the history of the school. I got a human relations certificate. I wrote the school speech. I read the school speech, and I graduated with honors. And that journey took me to boxing. Not that, it was something that I thought about, but after going to the gym from living in North Philly, which is probably about 4 miles away, me and a neighbor was talking, and he wanted to go somewhere up in Germantown, like I said, which was about 4 miles. And we started walking on our little journey. And the way I got into boxing was I happened to walk by this gym, and I saw all these guys in there hitting the bags and speed bags. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go in and introduce myself. And when I did, that's how they say the rest is history. And come to find out, the guy that was training me, I found out maybe about 3 years ago that we was related through marriage. His people married somebody in my family. So come to find out that we're related through marriage. And like I said, and that's how I got started boxing. And hey, it took me on a very, very good journey. I met many people throughout my career. Russell Peltz and Don King was my promoters. And 17 is pretty late to be starting boxing, but I was one of the fortunate ones to start late and win a title in 95. But before that, I won the NABF title in 89 to 90. But before that, I probably have at least the amount of amateur fights, maybe 15 amateur fights, no more than 20, I'm sure of, and went on to win a world title thereafter. But I was rated number 5 in the country as an amateur heavyweight. I was a small heavyweight, about $190, $180, knocking out guys that was maybe 200 plus. But on that journey, I still was able to interact with my family and talk to my family, and got to know all my family members. I was put in foster care at the age of 4, and from 4 to 12, then 4 to 12, and from 12 to 18, that's when I went to the next foster home. And, and my foster parents taught me a lot of values and respect. And went back later when I got a little older to visit them. And eventually they passed. Mom, dad, foster parents, they all passed. But like I said, I met them, got to know them, and did things with them. And I had a successful career. Met my sisters and brothers. Still got a few of them left now. Out of 8, it's only like about 5 of us left now. And I still keep in contact with them. And I still do stuff in the community. They put a mural of me up. They're supposed to name the gym after me. And perhaps put my bronze statue up soon. And, boxing has been good. I play music. I don't know how to read, but I play about 5 or 6 different instruments. I entertain myself for now. Not to say that I won't venture out to do something later. And my cousin, that was a former light heavyweight champ, Harold Johnson, he played drums, but I didn't know that until after he had passed. And I just went to the music store one day and bought my first instrument, which was a violin. Then after that, it was a guitar. Then after that, then it was more guitars and saxophones and horns and keyboards and harmonicas and violins. And it seemed like I just went crazy with instruments. And still play, still take my championship belt out to communities and fights to inspire the youth. It's in a glass case, like a briefcase. And I still sign lots of autographs and still talk to people, and people still know who I am and recognize me and Facebook me. And, I'm still interactive and very, into helping people. And, I'm still here and I'm still functioning.
So I have a couple questions. Can you hear me okay? I think we're having issues on my end. Nate, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. So I have a couple questions before you don't hear me. 17 years old was late for boxing?
Yes. Usually start 7, 8, 9, like that. Start young.
Excuse me?
Like 7, 8, 9, 10. They usually about that age.
I don't think I would want my child to start boxing so young. I didn't know that. Okay. So now all that information is incredible about you, especially with foster care.
Still going in and out. I missed some of the stuff you just said.
Okay. So especially with you being in foster care, in and out a couple of them, and you becoming who you are, you're a fighter, obviously, but on so many more levels. So I commend you for that. God bless you for that, Nate.
Thank you.
So now let's talk about our topics of conversation today. We're going to be talking about why President Trump will be reelected, the New World Order, corruption from the Pope on down, and how God is in control.
Sure.
Okay, so why don't you tell everyone some of the things you were saying to me and what made me want to do this interview? Just start talking.
No problem.
Okay.
Well, we're in a great place. This is a great time to be alive. Mr. Trump is getting ready to become the president again. He was put there from the offset to drain the swamp, and that's what he's doing behind the scenes. They tried to assassinate him about 4 times already, which will probably never be heard as of yet. But he's in there. He got the new justice in there, and she's a constitutional lawyer. And we'll be back under the original Constitution. If you look up the original Constitution, that's what we'll be under very shortly. We will have the 40 acres and 1,000 mules is pretty much on its way. EIP cards will be issued where you can access 1,000 a day for the next 7 years. We will have med beds and replicators. Med beds are, you can go back to the age of 30. We can live 3,600 years because we're only energy. if you look at the movie called Lucy, Stargate 1, Star Trek, we will be able to do space travel. We will be able to do time travel. All of these things is on the horizon. TV is basically tell his story. And all the things you see on TV is really telling us about us, but most of us don't have a clue that that's us. So to go back to the age of 36 and live 3,600 years, I'm ready for it, and I'm sure a lot of people will, and they will look the age they was when they was 36. The Democrats didn't want the justice to get in. They was hoping and praying and trying to do all things to block it. But as you know, if y'all been keeping up and looking at the news, she was already sworn in. Now, this is where Red October is going to be most amazing, even though it's almost over. It's already set in motion that Trump will promise you that he will be the president again, and Biden, the pedophile, won't make it. And if you notice in his name, the three cents, if, and it's not going to happen. If he got in, then it will be a communist country. But he's not going to make it. That's why you see that some red marks, some stripes, meaning China, communist, whatever. But that's not going to happen. So y'all need not to worry. Great things is getting ready to happen for the planet. Good air, fine air, good water, food. And at some point in time, it'll be a cashless society because everybody will have what they need. The system has been based on fraud. BIS stands for Bank of International Settlements, which they control 95% of the world. On the fiat money that was created by them in the 1800s. So it's always been monopoly money, play money. And if you look up the Credit River case, you'll find that they murdered a judge because he told the truth about every time you go to the bank, they create something out of thin air and give you your so-called money back, which was fraud. Everything under Title 1842 is 15 is all fraudulent, and we all been bamboozled, hoodwinked. Lawyers don't have a license. All they could show you was a certificate, a bar card to show that they pay union dues and they work for the Queen. The Queen is no longer in power. If y'all noticed some time ago when Trump was over in England, he stood on the outside of the Queen, meaning that the Queen basically saying that I surrender. And if y'all watch, when they was walking down the road, he was in front of her, symbolizing that, hey, I'm in charge and you're not in charge. But a lot of people didn't get that. It's fine, because everybody don't get everything. But the power is diminished. The Pope is under house arrest. They found all of their children under the cathedral. It was a bombing in Alaska where they was rescuing children, underground cities and so forth and so on, and they're still being rescued as we speak. And what you see Trump, and when you see him talk, a lot of stuff that he talk about, it really don't make sense to us, but people that know, it makes sense. It's a lot that they try to throw us off with, but for the people that know, it makes sense. The virus, well, scamdemic, people are dying, but not of a virus. A virus is everyday occurrences, and I talked to a few people that work, nurses, and I asked them, I said, well, exactly what is a virus? They said the usual. Let's see. It's a lot of stuff. It's viruses is diarrhea, shortness of breath, fatigue, the usual stuff. And the mask, they wanted us to get chipped. That's not going to work. The mask is basically a symbol of shh, be quiet, don't say nothing, while you stifle your brains because you're not getting the oxygen you're supposed to get. If you keep that mask on too long, you don't get that proper oxygen. A lot of people don't know that. But, people are dying of 5G phones, the radiation 5G towers, but they're not telling you about that. So it's a lot of stuff will come to fruition after Mr. Trump is put back in the office, and people like myself can go out and tell the people what really was happening. And if you look up Gusara and Nusara, Nesara and Gesara, you can find out what we was born into, what's getting ready to happen, and it's all good stuff. Like I said, this is a good time to be alive on this planet because all the hardheads are going to Guantanamo Bay and work for 39 cents an hour. It's going to be a lot of presidents and other members of society will be being executed. And that would probably take place in Guantanamo. Some people will hear about it, some people won't, but they're on the verge, and they got everything in place for the executions to take place. Obama supposed to be, his wife supposed to be. It's a lot of people. Believe me when I say a lot of people. And if you went on my Facebook page, you'll see 500,000 indictments. Oprah Winfrey wanted to get rid of 80% of the population. That's not going to work. So now all of these people got to go to court for crimes against humanity. And we've been living under the umbrella of fake news, and they tried to get Trump, but it didn't work. The collusion, the Russia hoax, and all that, he came out of that. He's backed by a lot of people, the White Hats, the Alliance, and whoever else, because they hate everything he does. And trust me, they didn't want that justice to get in there, but she's in. I was just reading an article about it now. The Democrats are really and highly upset that she got in. So now she's going to help drain the swamp too. So not only Trump is draining the swamp, she's going to help drain it too. And like I said, some of the people that you never heard of, they are under house arrest, going to be arrested, and or being executed. A lot of them, a lot of people is clones, believe it or not. Just because you see them walking around, don't mean that's necessarily them. But it's a lot of clones. Pence, that didn't look like Pence the other day when he was talking for some reason. That didn't look like Trump when he was up there on the balcony talking. It's a lot of clones of people, and they can replace them if they want to. And Jimmy Kimmel's supposed to be executed. Tom Hanks, Degenerate, a whole lot of these people are going to the wash, never to be seen again. Just like the people on the planet, the hard-headed people, once they start the New World Order, when you start getting funds, and if you out there trying to rob people and do harm to them, they got a place for you. And that place is at Guantanamo, where you work for 39 cents. And they also brought the guillotine back. So for all the so-called gangsters, once they go, hey, may not return. And Make America Great is part of what that means. Make America Great. Everybody gonna have, the earth is gonna be plentiful. It's no need to go out and harm people and take, because everybody gonna have the same thing. They're gonna have everything they need, and we can live all them years in harmony and in peace. So that's a good bit of what I know. I know other stuff, but that's a good bit of what I just told you was happening.
Okay, so of course I have questions. Yeah. How do you know a lot of this stuff? You don't have to give names or anything, but how do you know a lot of the things you talked about?
Well, you can go, for people that want to know, they can go to Intel Chronicles #1. It's easy. Pull that in and tell you a whole lot of stuff, everything, just about. Go there, Intel Chronicles. Type that in. I know people that know people in the White House. That's how I know. And I talk to certain people, and I get certain emails. But Intel Chronicles can tell you a whole lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. You mentioned Trump. Is he cloned as well?
They said the real Trump is the red tie, and the clone Trump is the blue tie.
Okay, so now he knows this, though. I mean, he's got to know. Obviously.
He's the president.
Yeah. So now the other people that are cloned, they obviously know that as well.
They say Pence is dead. That's what they said.
Okay.
I looked at Pence the other day, and that person looked kind of not like what I normally see, or for some reason, certain things or people, it just didn't look like itself for some reason. I mean, hey, they say he was already executed.
Okay. So, all right, let's talk about New World Order. Do you think we'll have more presidents after Trump in 4 years?
From what I'm hearing, it won't be no more presidents. From what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Once this thing go in effect, hey, when they go back to the Constitution, we the people. It's always been we the people, but we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled. We never read the Constitution. They took out the 13th Amendment. That's supposed to be put back in, from what I'm hearing. I think that might have been the only thing that's been taken out. The 13th Amendment, I think, if I'm correct. That's going to be put back in. Attorneys have to abide by the true meaning of what they're supposed to do. So, and the IRS will be no longer the IMF, International Monetary Fund, will be no more. IRS, they'll be doing something else, but they won't be taking taxes from people. IRS is basically the mafia. They was 76% bluff, I believe. All he did was collected money, and where your income go to was the Queen. That's where your income go to, the Queen. A lot of people don't know that. And the mafia just backed her up, basically, which I call them the internal ripoff service. That's all they ever been. And I'm glad you brought that up, because about 7 years ago, a friend of mine, they wanted to start taking. They took $900 out of my pension, and I said, "Ain't no way I can let them keep stealing $900." So I called a friend of mine up, and he gave me like 10 documents. So once I took the 10 documents, I filled them out and went down to the Internal Ripoff Service office and gave them the documents. And guess what? He stopped taking out that $900 because they knew it was fraud. I had all the statues and everything, so they stopped taking it. And I was happy about that, because $900 a month out my pension. I said, man, ain't no way this is going to happen. So there's a lot of ways. And when I used to box, they alleged that I owed taxes. So I said, all right, the $76,000 I never paid. So what I did, I did a Form 56, and I made somebody in the IRS, not beneficiary, I forget what you call it, but anyway, I put their name on it, sent it off. They took the lien off me. I had a federal lien, tax lien. Usually federal tax liens don't come off. So me and my buddy, we did the documents, and That stopped them right in their tracks. So there's a lot we don't know. We will know at some point in time.
So let me ask you this, about how many years do you think everything that you're saying today may come out where people are going to know the truth about?
Soon. I would say, in my opinion, I would say next year or early. That's what I think.
Okay. So, all right. So let me ask you this. Everything we've ever been taught or told has all been lies then?
Has what?
Has all been lies.
The majority, yes. 96.9%, yes.
So let me ask you, off the top of your head, tell me a truth we've been told. A truth.
The swamp is being drained. It's going to be plentiful for everybody. Gasara and Nasara are going to be announced soon. And that's the most important truth right there.
Okay.
Things is on the horizon, literally. Because I wouldn't be able to tell you all what I told you about the man bed and replicator. We're going to have access to that if Trump wouldn't get it back and all. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Okay.
Nobody probably heard of that.
Is there anything else that you think, do you think we should know or you'd like to tell us?
Hello?
Is there anything else that you haven't touched? Can you hear me?
You're going in and out.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Having a problem, guys. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Nate, can you hear me?
It's sporadic.
Okay. What about now? Can you?
Good.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Good.
Okay. Is there anything else before we close the interview that you'd like to say to everyone?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me, Nate?
Yeah, sporadic.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to say before we end the interview?
I'm just happy. Like I said, it's a great day to be alive, and things are moving forward. Just right after or before the election, things will be, up. I mean, a lot of people won't be happy on this planet very soon. That's all I can say.
Well, I want to thank you for being a guest today.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you can hear me now saying thank you to you at least.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to thank you very much for being a guest. I want to congratulate you with all your accomplishments and your awards. I think that's incredible.
Thank you.
And what I want to say to everyone out there is this. This young man was not only in foster care. This young man had anger issues growing up, he said. And look what he did with that anger. He turned it into something positive. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass. You know what, guys? 19 years ago, I was a dumbass. I'm sorry, 29 years ago, I was a dumbass. 29 years today later, I can honestly say I'm a smart ass. Because I too took all the negative crap and did something positive with it. And I'm saying that to say this to you guys. It's possible. Anything is possible. Wherever you are at in your life right now, please know that you can turn your life around. And there's so much help out there. Reach out to me. I can give you some options. Listen to Nate's story again. I mean, that's unbelievable. Nate Miller, what a story. So, having said that, I hope that this show, this interview enlightened you, inspired you, and gave you some insight to want to now do some more research. So I want to say thank you to everyone listening, and please share this video. Thank you, Nate.
All right. Thank you.
All right, honey. Share this video, guys.